Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Lindgren. A local pastor is voicing his concern about the future of the Old St. Vincent Church in Corning. As Big Fox's Matt Kleindens tells us, this comes a month after the City Council voted against a plan that would turn the church into an apartment complex.
Good evening, Jennifer. Father Matthew Jones of All Saints Parish in Corning has been advocating for the redevelopment of the St. Vincent's Church. After the proposal was tabled by the Corning City Council, he says the church will likely sit and deteriorate. In a letter to parishioners, Father Matthew Jones provided an update on the St. Vincent's Church. The church has sat abandoned since 2018, with a development company waiting for zoning changes in order to develop an affordable housing complex.
There were 43 units that the proposal would include, including senior housing for low-income seniors, and then housing for working individuals that were 50 to 90% of the average median income for the area.
Allison Hunt says numerous residents voiced their opposition to the plan, and the city council voted against the project in February. Father Jones says the church will likely sit and deteriorate unless another potential buyer emerges.
It will be very difficult to find another developer to come in and develop that site.
Hunt says rampant vandalism remains a major concern for the church. Father Jones' letter says that windows will be boarded up and a fence will be installed around the perimeter to try to address the issue.
That's actually a bigger concern to that area of our community, rather than having it be developed into something that potentially could be a very positive thing.
Hunt says a petition is expected to be handed into the City Council on April 4th to get them to reconsider their vote. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
The city of Corning is reminding residents on how to safely deal with bear sightings. This comes after several people reported black bear sightings in nearby neighborhoods. You're asked to secure all trash and birdseed, feed your pets indoors, and clean your grill after every use. And you should never approach a bear. Just report any sightings to police. The Elmira Police Department will be adopting a new flag ahead of its 146th anniversary next month. According to Chief Anthony Alvarez, the flag will represent the department's pride and honor of serving the city. Chief Alvarez says the flag will serve as a reminder that the department will continue working to keep the community safe. The new flag is expected to be adopted at the next City Council meeting on March 28th. Civilian casualties are rising as the war rages in Ukraine. Jeff Paul tells us this comes as Biden officials have now determined Vladimir Putin's forces have committed war crimes since the invasion began.
As thousands of people continue to flee from Ukraine, refugee centers like this behind me are set up in nearby Poland to offer those people a helping hand. This comes as Russia continues its invasion.
Mariupol is almost 99% destroyed. The planes drop bombs everywhere. It was horrible, and we took a risk and we left.
They are some of the lucky ones who were able to escape, as hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians remain trapped in Mariupol. The port city wiped out by weeks of relentless attacks. Everyday people defending the front lines.
They did not expect the Ukrainians to fight back this hard.
Still, Russian troops unleashing a new series of airstrikes across the country.
Every day they bomb 40, 50, 60 times a day. They bomb suburbs and city center. So far, 700 buildings have been destroyed.
This morning, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke to the Pope about the difficult humanitarian situation, then appealed to Italy's parliament for more help.
We are on the brink of survival.
President Biden warns Vladimir Putin may now try to step up the offensive by using biological and chemical weapons.
He's already used chemical weapons in the past, and we should be careful what's about to come.
Something Moscow denies.
The Russian Federation, unlike many Western countries, including the United States, does not engage in banditry on the state level.
President Biden is warning U.S. businesses of possible cyber attacks ahead of his trip to Brussels to meet with NATO leaders. In Krakow, Poland, Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
The largest food company in the world facing mounting pressure to stop all its business in Russia. Ukraine's President Zelensky has singled out Nestle for continuing to do business in Russia. The Swiss company has stopped shipments of non-essential items, but continues to sell products like baby food, cereal, and pet food in the country. Nestle said it does not make a profit from its remaining activities in Russia and that it has suspended new investment there. The Senate Judiciary Committee holding its second day of hearings for Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. On Tuesday, Caroline Shively says Judge Jackson answered questions from senators about her views on the legal system and the hot-button issues impacting the country politically.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson faces lawmakers today as they get their first chance to question the Supreme Court nominee.
This will be your opportunity to speak.
Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson began hours of questioning at her confirmation hearing on Tuesday. Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin kicked off the 30-minute rounds, highlighting Jackson's experience as a judge and asking about her judicial philosophy.
Would you like to comment at the outset of those who are looking for a label what your position is on judicial philosophy?
Setting aside any personal views, it's very important that judges rule without fear or favor.
Republican senators have promised tough questions regarding Jackson's record on criminal matters, labeling her as soft on crime.
What aspect of your record as a judge do you believe have been the most important?
I don't think that anyone can look at my record and say that it is pointing in one direction.
Jackson will answer questions through Wednesday. On Thursday, the Judiciary Committee will hear from the American Bar Association and other outside witnesses. The White House hopes to garner bipartisan support for Jackson this week. Some GOP senators have expressed openness.
The key issue for any judge being appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court is, will they in fact be even-handed? Will they look at every case before them in a way that is focused on the law?
Democrats hope to wrap up Jackson's confirmation by early April. In Washington, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
Stay with us. We're back with your forecast after this.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
All right, thanks again for checking in as we take a look at your local forecast. Hopefully had a decent Tuesday. Next week, by the way, is the end of March. Hard to believe. It seems like it just started, but we're going to be dealing with an unsettled end of the week. Our radar and satellite picture from earlier on Tuesday showing clouds streaming into the region, a little bit of precipitation off to the south and west, and we do expect to see that rain, maybe even mixed with snow at times, into our early Wednesday before changing to all rain. Now heading into our overnight time period, again, temperatures slowly falling to the lower 30s. Winds will be out of the east eventually in the morning. The clouds will continue to thicken up. We're looking at a morning low in Elmira Corning at 29. That'll be slightly above the average of 25. 7:04 is your sunrise and sunset at 7:22. Tomorrow's high, 46 degrees. That's right where we should be. Again, cloudy tonight, seeing a bit of a rain snow mix in the morning on Wednesday, changing to all rain during the day. And as I mentioned, kind of a soggy end of the week, but our mild temperatures will continue before we cool off this upcoming weekend with another light rain snow chance. So definitely unsettled. Did want to mention that we do have a general thunderstorm threat close to home from Elmira and Corning in this light green. That's a general thunderstorm threat, but some isolated severe weather concerns west of Pittsburgh in parts of the Ohio Valley there. All right, so let's take a look at our forecast model into the overnight hours. There's that brief chance of, again, rain and or snow in the morning. Once we head through the day, it looks like we'll be dealing with generally more rain, could even have a few claps of thunder in the high elevations off to our east. We do expect to see perhaps a little bit of a wintry mix, including some icing, but for us locally, I think it'll be mainly rain with a few claps of thunder. Here's our rain potential through 7 p.m. Thursday, a quarter, maybe even a half an inch of rainfall. Depends on where those thunderstorms develop. Again, we're not expecting much in terms of snowfall close to home. You head off to the east, there could be a bit of a wintry mix in some of the higher elevations. Now 29 degrees when you wake up. Again, clouds will continue to thicken up as that precipitation begins to slide in from the south and west. Temperatures running a little bit above average for those overnight lows here now for the end of the month. Winds starting to pick up out of the southeast as that storm system approaches, and by, say, the mid to late afternoon, winds could be gusting up close to 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour. And temperatures, again, will feel more like the lower 30s here in the morning. Could be cold enough for a wintry mix, at least on the onset of that precipitation, but then all rain as we head later into the day. So there's your soggy end of the week forecast. 58 on Thursday, so even with the clouds, it will be mild, and then cooling off a little bit this weekend with another rain-snow chance. We'll keep you up to date.
A close call in Maine during what would normally be a routine end to the school day. Blair Best has the story of how a bus driver saved a girl's life.
It was during an afternoon drop-off last week when this bus stopped to let a little girl off. Just before she stepped out, a car came up from behind the bus and sped right past these doors.
If somebody was out there, they would have killed her. Wow. She didn't stop, nothing. I'm gonna cry.
Atina DiPolito has been a bus driver for about 12 years.
I love my job. I do. I love my kids. I've been doing it long enough. They are my kids.
Last Wednesday, as she was about to drop a girl off at home, she knew something wasn't right.
And here, and I thought it was one of the kids wrestling a bag or something. And all of a sudden I look and I see this car flying on my door side.
She immediately pulled the girl back from the road.
If something would happen to that kid, that was on me.
The girl's family caught it all on camera. Watch as the car passes on the right, just inches from the open bus doors.
It was pretty scary.
Dawn Murray was shocked when she saw what happened.
It's terrifying. You would think that your kids are safe and people are watching out for the bus.
Superintendent Paul Penna says it's the most dangerous bus incident he's ever seen.
People hitting the back of the buses and passing on the left side. I've never seen anyone pass on the right side of the bus.
Many say it's the bus driver who's the true hero in all of this.
It's absolutely amazing, and she did obviously a wonderful job.
There was an angel out there somewhere watching over this bus.
Soaring gas prices have some considering moving away from gas-powered vehicles. But finding an electric vehicle or even a hybrid is not an easy task. Jeff Flock has more from Philadelphia.
I'm here at the Tesla Supercharger on Aramingo Avenue in Philadelphia, where there are 8 charging ports and just one taker. Maybe it's because these days EVs are hard to find and perhaps even harder to pay for. The numbers from Kelley Blue Book for January: average transaction prices for all vehicles about $46,400. For EVs, almost $63,000. Cadillac showcasing its new Lyriq all-electric vehicle. Crossover costs about $60,000 to start. Only problem is all of the reservations already sold out. Inventory's tight on all vehicles these days because of supply chain issues and chip shortages, but particularly difficult for EVs. Plenty of interest, though, with the high gas prices. People asking questions like, how much will it cost me to recharge my EV battery, and how long will it take? Well, here's a couple of quick answers. One, if you have a mid-sized EV, the Department of Energy says that it'll take about $16 for you to recharge it to a full charge at home, $20 to $45 if you go to a public charging station. And how long? Well, for the Tesla Model S, for example, if you are at one of these superchargers like I am today, 30 minutes for a full charge. If you've got a Tesla charger in your home that you have to install, that'll recharge in about 9 hours. But if you plug it into a standard wall outlet in your home, that could take between 2 and 3 full days. Lots of interest in EVs these days. We'll see if that translates into actual sales.
Russian sanctions are now hurting American farmers. Russia's responsible for a large chunk of the fertilizer market, and Moscow is now no longer willing to sell to the West. Mills Hayes shows us how a war an ocean away is leaving American farmers on edge.
You've probably seen the prices of the grocery store items you buy change constantly, but farmers tell me that the crops that they grow, those prices are changing drastically every single day. And some Minnesota farmers tell me that they're concerned about providing for their family. Mike Gunderson's family has been farming wheat, soybeans, and corn on this land since the 1950s. He expects the weather to throw him a curveball in farming, but not a war.
All the stuff in Ukraine, and there's so much volatility in the market.
The U.S. imports $10.3 billion worth of fertilizer for crops. $1.3 billion of that comes from Russia, which is now off the market.
Some farmers may have purchased a lot or put some fertilizer down last fall, so they might be in great shape, and some might not have put anything on, and they're the ones that it's really going to affect a lot.
The Minnesota Association of Wheat Growers says farmers lay down fertilizer at least twice a year.
There's a lot of fertilizers that are 4 and 5x more expensive than they were a year ago. Fertilizer has drastically outpaced the rate of inflation.
Vogel says farmers have pre-bought fertilizer, but many are worried they won't be able to get enough to keep their crops from going.
The majority have probably secured fertilizer for their needs, but just because you've secured it doesn't mean that's all those tons were secured with the assumption that the world would be somewhat normal.
Russia's ban on fertilizer is scheduled to last until the end of the year. And while supply is already tight this year, it's the future many are worried about.
If things don't settle down and the suppliers don't want to purchase from Russia and for 2023, that could put a real tight squeeze on the fertilizer market. Even next year, make it even worse than it is now.
Ukraine and Russia make up about 30% of the entire world's wheat market. And with those two countries offline, American farmers could possibly sell their wheat for more money, but it would really balance out because the cost of fertilizer has risen so much. In Waverly, Minnesota, Mills Hayes, Fox News.
The Fed could raise interest rates even faster. Nike runs past manufacturing setbacks, and the cost of lunch skyrocketed while you were working from home. CJ Papa has these stories and more in today's Business Briefs.
Hawkish comments from Jay Powell, moving markets. The Federal Reserve Chairman saying the Fed is open to raising interest rates faster and bigger than expected to get inflation down to its 2% target, meaning the Fed could raise rates by 0.5 point rather than 1/4 point. The next Fed meeting is May 3rd. Stocks sold off on the chairman's comments. The Dow, S&P 500 and NASDAQ all finishing down on Monday. Oil prices are mixed, both Brent and crude topping $110 a barrel. Regular gas is at $4.24 a gallon, down from last week. Apple services are back online after a brief outage. More than 20 services were affected, including the App Store, iTunes and Apple TV, Apple Fitness, iMessage, and more. The tech giant had not disclosed the cause of the outage. Demand is picking up for athletic wear and shoes. Nike reporting stronger than expected earnings and sales in the recent quarter. Nike says part of its success is selling direct to consumers at its own stores and Nike Direct online. And the return to work taking a toll on your wallet. Employees are facing lunchflation. According to payment company Square, the average price of sandwiches is up 14% from last March, and salads up 11%. For more stories, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm CJ Papa.
We want to leave you with a smile. Grubhub helps Hoops fans keep their eyes on the Office Pool prize for March Madness. Grubhub, the online food ordering and delivery platform, has more than 30 special restaurant deals, some for certain dates only, so check carefully. Top deals include Shake Shack, free shakes and free deliveries on orders of $15 or more on Mondays. Checkers, free 3-piece tenders on orders of $20 or more. Chick-fil-A, no delivery fee, and free mac and cheese on $15 or more orders. Wendy's, $1 Dave singles on $15 or more orders. And Taco Bell, free nacho fries on orders of $15 or more. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.